right, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, be seated. Hey, it was really an honor. I've gotten to meet a lot of you. Dinner last night was great. I got to get around and meet quite a few of you. I got to talk with a lot of you. I love the melting pot that makes up America. And it's so neat to meet so many people from different places who are pursuing the American dream and embracing it. I think for any military member, that's what we fought for. I know for me it was. I wanted to fight against evil that would potentially stop individuals from accomplishing their hopes and dreams. And that's really what America is built upon. Freedom and opportunity. And you guys in this room are living that. You have the freedom to go after the opportunities and make yourself successful and make this incredible impact on people around you, to help them. And it's so awesome to me to be able to get up and help people along that journey, to take these lessons that I learned and share them with other people. So, how do we do that? I'm hoping to give you guys pieces of information today that you can carry with you. And the interesting thing about the lessons that I speak on, a lot of people, I'll hear them and they'll say, oh, we have this Navy SEAL speaking. Yeah, he's going to tell a great story, but I could never be a Navy SEAL. Well, nobody in this room has to become a Navy SEAL, you know. Although Jake and I did work out this morning wherever he is, and we had a good time. But nobody has to be a Navy SEAL. The interesting thing about the SEAL team, special operations, and even further down that glide slope of our military, even down to the lowest level of our conventional forces, is the skills that they are taught in a military unit. And they are taught the skills of leadership, and they're taught the skills of teamwork, and how to work together in austere, chaotic environments, and how to set goals, and how to build structure, and how to do all these things that truly enable success. And the greatest thing about all these things is they don't just work in the military, they work everywhere. These are human skills. Leadership is leadership no matter where you go. Teamwork is teamwork no matter where you go, whether it's in business, whether it's in a sports team, whether it's in a military unit. And that's what I want to talk about today, to take these lessons and share them with you.
All right, so we got a couple minutes here. Let's do like 3-4 questions if anyone has any. Don't be shy. Yeah.
What was your biggest obstacle in life, which is you overcome? And I believe you hear what you like and you do absolutely amazing and great. But like, I believe every time you move forward, you have some obstacle. And what kind of techniques you use to overcome this obstacle?
Great question. So the biggest thing I've overcome in my life, the short answer is myself. That is the biggest obstacle I've overcome. The longer answer, and I saw all of you got a copy of my book. The story of the book has to do with my journey to finding myself in Ranger School and coming to understand what it is to be an effective leader. A lot of people want to think that the hardest thing I've ever been through was being wounded and having to navigate that journey. And that was a hard road. It took 4 years and roughly 40 surgeries to put me back together. That was definitely not the hardest. The hardest road was failing as a leader and coming, confusing arrogance and confidence and starting to not listen to people, which led to my downfall in our community. And that road was the hardest road I've ever walked. As a matter of fact, having gone through that before I was wounded, when I got wounded, I was like, I got this. I've done more. I'll tell you, you guys will probably be dumbfounded to hear this. I find the civilian world much harder than my military world. It was very straightforward. Combat is incredibly simple. You go overseas and you're with these group of individuals that are closer to you than your family. You know them so well that in the darkness, I can watch just the way somebody walks and I know who that is. And you depend on them for your life. And literally it gets boiled down to, you and I were talking this morning, life gets real simple when you're in survival mode and it becomes life and death. And I came back to the civilian world, and I have had my struggles in business, trying to grow my nonprofit, to grow my business, and times where I'm like, how am I going to continue to do this? You know, where I'm like, you know, you're looking at cash flow, and you're like, I don't have enough cash flow to last 3 more months. You know, how do I pay people? How do I make things happen? And I just tell myself, I'm going to believe. You know, my motto is I overcome. I overcome and lead always and overcome all. Those are the 2 things. And sometimes having a good person on your team, my wife, the long-haired admiral, her story is throughout that book. And sometimes, even I told you this, sometimes I'm a negative person. I have to fight against that. And sometimes it'll win a little bit. And my wife will go, hey, do you want to read one of your speeches? And I'm like, roger that. Time to ignite the ember. So that's how I keep driving forward, and how no matter what's going wrong, I take a breath, recognizing that sometimes, we touched on this last night, sometimes we in crisis moments when the stress is at its highest, we start to feel like I have to make a decision right now. You know, oh my God, the weight of the world is on me. There's all these things happen. I got to make a decision. Sometimes it's better to take a step back and take a day or two to allow that pressure to release itself. And we come back to it, and we may see options or opportunities that we didn't see in the moment. And that's something else I've come to learn.
Continual question. You right now enjoying this moment to make this kind of decision when you're under pressure and you have to make a decision and you feel the pressure on you right now? You enjoy it, or you still this?
Oh no, I am someone who thrives. I do very well in a very chaotic environment. As a matter of fact, better. I have a tendency sometimes to procrastinate when things aren't going on. And that's why I believe in balance, structure, change. That's why I follow that model. But when the stress is on, I do very well in those times. So.
All right, we got time for one more question before we get to pictures.
Jason. My top few goals, writing my second book. So we launched a new speakers bureau, and we are moving into workshops. I want to get into companies and teach this a little more in depth. You know, so a lot of the things you guys are getting, the wave tops, I want to get deeper into how you can take these things and really effectively lead yourself and lead others and more build that overcome mindset. So new book, workshops,